What's up, 12th man? I love to say it. It's again another beautiful day here in the Pacific Northwest. This is a great time of the year because summer's starting, you know, you're feeling the nice warm sun coming out, school's out, and now we're into the whole summer mode. This also marks the end of the off season for the Seahawks. We just had the conclusion of mini-camp yesterday, and we've had a lot of drama leading up to this mini-camp and during the mini-camp, if you've been following the news. The first one was this ridiculous Marshawn Lynch story that was so overblown about him holding out to get a new contract and he wasn't going to show. And you know, I smelled that the media was overblowing that whole thing because, again, Marshawn Lynch hadn't done anything yet. He hadn't stated anything, but they were all saying sources close to Marshawn are saying that he's not going to show up. And what happens? He shows up, you know. Now, there could still be contract issues going on, but that's normal. I mean, there's always plenty of that stuff, and I just think somebody leaked this thing out there, and then, you know, so the public just jumped on it and made a big story out of it. So, bottom line is, Marshawn showed up. He was supposedly, you know, couldn't practice because of this. He had a sore ankle. Now, whether that's true or not, we'll never know. He may not have, and maybe that was just his way of getting around the no-show fine of $70,000 if he didn't go there. But the fact is, he was there. You know, and whether he's injured or not, I mean, he was still present. He was there. He looked like he was actively keeping an eye on what's going on in the field, was connected. He was involved. So, anyway, the Marshawn Lynch story, that part of it is done, which I knew that if he showed up, the whole media would just go away, and it pretty much has. Now I just have to find out whether he does, in fact, get a new contract or adjusted, you know, they make a new adjustments to his contract for the next, for the remaining 1 or 2 years that they got left. Personally, I wouldn't mind if the Seahawks made concessions and adjusted his contract for him. I mean, we're not talking about a lot of money. We're not talking about a long-term deal. We're just talking about the next 1 to 2 years, maybe. I want Marshawn Lynch to retire as a Seahawk. I think he's one of the most special backs we've ever had. And the argument that if you change someone's deal after he just signed a relatively new deal sets a precedent for everybody else. No, I don't think that applies, because the reality is if somebody else tries to do that and they're not of importance or relevance to where the Seahawks need that player, well then they're just not going to do the deal. So I think every individual is different, just like every contract's different. You don't pay your linemen equally. You don't pay your defensive backs or any other position equally. Everybody gets their own special treatment depending on how valuable they are and what their market is worth. So, you know, there's no precedent there. You don't pay Percy Harvin the millions of dollars they give him and then go, oh, well, we set a precedent, we got to pay everybody. No, it doesn't work that way. It's all based on the individual's contributions. And Marshawn Lynch, you know, has contributed a lot. And yeah, he was already making pretty good money, but considering that, you know, we're getting to the twilight of his career, it wouldn't bother me in a bit if I saw that they pulled a little bit out of the kitty to give him a little bit more money. So that's my own personal feeling on it. So, I mean, I'd rather than do that, keep him happy and have him played his best for as long as they can, because I love that guy. I think he's such a great force to be reckoned with. And the day Marshawn Lynch goes, he's going to be tough to replace, you know? So hopefully Christian Michael or Robert Turbin will be able to fill his shoes eventually, but right now, that's a tall order. So we'll see what happens. But as it turns out, that wasn't the only drama related to this mini camp. Marshawn Lynch was actually playing peacekeeper during that time he was on the sideline with something that did happen on the field that was much more of an interesting story. We had some fights breaking out amongst our fellow Seahawks. Not just one, but a couple. You might even say there were 3 little altercations that were going on. First one, I think, started with Earl Thomas covering Brian Walters. Walters fell, and then Earl kind of fell on him and rung him up pretty good, and Doug Baldwin and Thomas got into some words there, a little pushing and shoving, because I think Baldwin was just trying to protect Walters, feeling like Thomas was being a little too physical. And then the play after that led to Sherman and Bates getting at it, to where they were helmets off, shirts, jerseys pulling over people's heads, and punches being swung, and you know, it was pretty violent. Luckily, nobody got hurt, and then shortly thereafter stopped practice and had to have a team meeting to discuss, you know, what was going on. And then on the 3rd day, there was another smaller issue between running back Christian Michael and Jerron Johnson. Those two got in at it for someone getting a little too frisky with the other. So that sort of overshadowed any other news of that mini camp. But of course the media is looking for sensational stuff to talk about. But to me, I think that it just shows that Seattle is playing on the edge, keeping their edge, playing with fire and passion and doing what got them to the Super Bowl last year and winning the Super Bowl, was playing with that ferocity where they every play is a huge play, and I think they're treating it that way in practice. So you certainly want that problem more than you do guys not looking like they care or taking plays off or loafing around. So I thought it was great. I thought it was cool. And at the end of the day, they were all friends again. I don't think no one's getting into any personal vendettas over this thing. So it was just heat of the moment kind of stuff. I think that's great. That's just a sign of passion and determination and physicality, where you're just going at it, because you wouldn't get mad at somebody unless they were getting under your nerves, and the only way you do that is you play hard and really get in at the guy. That was pretty much how mini-camp ended up. What I observed and heard is that they're looking good. Offensively and defensively, they're making plays on both sides. I think our team is looking as good as it's ever been, and is in great shape and poised to get off on the right start when we start training camp later this summer in late July, which I can't wait to get to, so that's gonna be a blast. There's some other cool Seahawks news. Finally, the team received their Super Bowl 48 rings, and these things are awesome. A thing of beauty. I can't believe how much stuff they can cram on a little ring. They got all kinds of diamonds and symbols. I mean, they got the Seahawks logo, they got the 12th man in there, they got inscriptions of different quotes, the score of the Super Bowl, and just all kinds of little goodies on every side and front of and the back of this ring. But it is something else. So you gotta check out the pictures of this thing. There's something else. There was a private ceremony held at the EMP, the Experience Music Project, owned by Paul Allen. So they received their rings there and were entertained by Usher as the musical entertainment for the night. So pretty cool thing for the team. I think it's pretty awesome. And so I think with that pretty much is the last ceremonial event to sort of hold on to the magic of what was the 2013-2014 season. I think now with that we can close the circle on last year's team and fully move forward, knowing that, okay, last year was great, it was awesome, we won the Super Bowl, but now we are completely moving forward. We are done with all the business pertaining to last year, So now we're on to other things. So really the Hawks will be pretty quiet up until training camp in July, which I'm going to bring to you. I had to tell you this funny story about there's this guy on Facebook. He was all stoked. He was pretty excited. Just got into something about the Legion of Boom. This tough-looking guy with his beard and stuff, and he was saying, he meant to say, LOB, nobody messes with the LOB. And what was funny is the way it finally came out on his message, and the phone misinterpreted it. So instead it came out as LL Bean. Nobody messes with the LL Bean. And LL Bean, I don't know if you know what the LL Bean is, but I think it's one of those like mail order outdoors wear catalog places like REI or something like that. So it's just too funny. LL Bean, nobody messes with the LL Bean. You can't get our sportswear, man. Cracked me up. That was pretty funny. Technology, gotta love it. Right here in the heart of downtown, it's 2nd and Union. Stuck in traffic, but check this out. I got a nice view of the bus. No, behind the bus, there's a nice view of the Great Wheel right there. Went on that for the first time last year. And please keep watching, like this video, subscribe, and please tell others to subscribe as well, your fellow 12th man, and go Hawks.
We are the 12th man, Seahawks, we got your back. Yeah, Seahawks, we got that swag. Yeah, defense, go get that sack. And we will be screaming so loud my ears are ringing. Opponents are for starting, like flies they will be dropping.
Go Hawks!